Right, so in today's video I'm going to be showing you how you can install a water butt in your garden. Right, so the main reason why we're actually installing the water butt is so that we can water all the plants around the garden without having to use the hose pipe. It'll also come in useful too for when I actually apply products to this lawn, and I'll be able to use the water from the water butt to actually fill the knapsack sprayer. You can see this is the gutter pipe we're going to be attaching the water butt to. I'm going to be drilling a hole through this part of the fence somewhere around here, but I'll only do that once we've actually got the water butt in place. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to level this space out with some stones, and I'm going to use the same stone that I've used around the patio at the top and also down at the patio near the front, just so that it matches the aesthetic. Ideally you want to be putting something like this onto flags or quite a smooth surface, but you can only work with what you've got, and I'm not going to be putting one patio slab down here. I think it looked like a bit of an eyesore, so I'm going to get on with some stones and see what it looks like. So before I get on with the actual stones, I'm going to put some fabric down, maybe up to 3 or 4 layers, just to make sure that a lot of the weeds will be suppressed, and then I'll get on with some of the stones. So there we go, I'm quite happy with the placement of that. So I've levelled the stones as best I can, I've stamped on them just to try to compact them. It's a little bit loose at the moment, but I'll be really honest with you, when this was stood up in the kitchen, it was loose in there as well. And I just think it needs a little bit of weight inside of this, and it'll hold itself nice and steady, especially once it's connected with the hose from this end too. So like I said before, it will be better on maybe like a flag or something, but I think that'd be a little bit of an eyesore in this corner. I can always tidy these edges up another time. It's not about getting that space perfect for now, it's more about getting the actual water butt installed. So the next job is to actually drill a hole through this and get the pipe going through the actual fence over here. If you've actually got a downpipe somewhere in your garden, it'd be ideal, but the best one I've got is this one here. The only other ones that I do have in the garden is over this side, and I also have one at the front of the house as well. Now some of you might argue that the pipe that's over this side of the garden would actually be a better place to actually put the water butt, but I would almost prefer it to be in amongst the plants, just so you can fill it up here and then get straight to watering all of them. Some people may see it as a bit of an eyesore in the garden, but I quite like it, to be honest. I'm happy with it standing there, and it's whatever you want yourself. Now to connect the pipe to the actual water butt itself, you've got to drill a hole through either the space on this side or the space on the other side. Now you can use a singular drill bit to, well, it's obviously going to make a bigger hole, but I've not got one of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with some smaller holes, and then I'm going to try and cut it out using a Stanley knife. Now obviously it's not the most ideal way of doing things, but it's all I've got at my disposal, and I'm not going to be running out and buying an actual drill bit just to fit this water butt that I may only ever use once. So it's got to be wide enough for this part to fit through up here, and then it can slot through. You can screw it together with the washer, a nice tight seal for the pipe to attach to this part like so. Now it's not perfect, but you know, it's DIY, it's hardly, you know, professional job or anything like that. There we go. So it's a bit too tight, but I've managed to screw it in, and you can't even really tell now that the hole is a bit of a mess. It's actually fitting there really, really nicely. It's about screwing it tight now with the washer on the other side. That's time for the hose. Just press onto there like so. Now I've got to decide at this point where the actual hose needs to go through the fence. Now I don't want it to be obviously going downwards, because the water's never going to be able to go up, and I don't want to have it too high either. I want it almost level, maybe just slightly offset from level. The instructions say keep it level, and online it says keep it level, but I think it makes more sense for gravity to pull it down ever so slightly, using logic of the world. So if I have a look here, I might just go into the fence around about, should we go there? So what I'll do, I'm going to drill straight through the centre of that and see where it takes me out on the other side. So you can see the holes come out about here, and when I put the actual diverter into the gutter pipe here, I'm going to have this part of the diverter sticking through there, which will attach straight onto the pipe. Right, so the next thing I've got to do is I've got to actually cut into the gutter pipe and install the diverter. Now, you can actually see on the bottom of the diverter pipe where I actually cut the gutter itself is where this is going to actually sit. So as long as I make the cut directly in line with the hole here, then it should flow through nicely. So you can't forget to put the actual cap over the top. Then divert the pipe on and lift it over to your other pipe. Push it down. Don't forget to clip that in place so it's not going anywhere. There we go. Push it through. Now ready to connect the pipe on the other side. The last thing I'm going to do is install the tap. There's a washer on this as well, just to make sure none of the water leaks out of the front. And just to test that everything's working, I'm going to put some water in the gutter pipe at the top and see if it flows through into the water butt. And we can see the water butt's filling up nicely. And whenever you want to use the water, you just turn the tap and the water comes straight out. There we go. And there we go, we are complete. The water butt is installed. Now we're just after some of those rainfalls that we've had over the past few weeks to hopefully start to fill this water butt, and then we'll be able to water all the plants without having to get the hose pipe out. Now I just want to say this installation of the water butt is by no means a professional installation. This is how you do it at home, a DIY job, if you've only got, you know, a drill at hand and the basic stuff that comes with the water butt itself. So I'm not proclaiming to be an expert carpenter with the holes that I've drilled in that fence today, but it's actually looking pretty tidy. Right, so it's currently 3 days after installing the water butt, and I've just come out to see how it's actually getting on, and let me show you the progress so far. I was torn between getting the 100 litre water butt, and there was another one which was 210 litres, and I opted to go for the smaller one, thinking, you know, I've only got a small garden, I've not got loads of plants to actually be watering, and also 210 litres would take a long time to fill up. You know, 100 would take a long time, which might have been slightly naive on my part because the water butt is currently full to the top. Now, I was convinced that it was going to take a good, you know, 3-4 weeks for this maybe to fill right to the top, but it just shows you that give it a couple of rainfalls, and granted the rainfalls that we've had over the past 2 or 3 days have not been big by any stretch, but it has been enough to actually fill up this water butt. And that just tells me one thing, that despite this hole not being the best in the world, and despite having a few, you know, minor issues when I was installing this water butt, I've actually done it correctly. It's working, and you know, jobs are good. Now, what will be interesting is once, you know, we get some dry weather and it comes to watering the plants, it'll be interesting to see how long the 100 litres in this water butt actually lasts. So I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, feel free to give it a like, and if you'd like to check out any of my other videos such as my garden renovation series or any of my lawn tip videos, then head over to my channel, and if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. And finally, thanks for watching.